Hi, I'm Allison Massey, and this is my informative speech on global warming. Global warming. By now, the mere mention of the idea has people rolling their eyes. Spokespeople like Al Gore and Oprah Winfrey certainly kick up a fuss in the media about making it the heated debate nearly inescapable. The public at large is growing tired of being forced to care about a couple of heat-stricken polar bears. But a growing minority is bringing the severity of the problem into light. These tree huggers bring up a good point. Earth's environmental collapse is no laughing matter and nothing to be taken lightly. Issues like extreme weather, geological shifts, and changes in wildlife prove that global warming can no longer be ignored. The first piece of evidence is extreme weather. El Niño, a biological process that causes tropical waters in the Pacific Ocean to heat up once every few years to act as a sort of pressure valve for nature's heat buildup. This process affects sea life migration, swells, etc. Since 1976, there have been 7 El Niños, but according to environmental patterns, which have been collected for 120 years, there should have been only 5. Clearly, the increase in the pattern was caused by some sort of enormous heat buildup on Earth's surface. California's weather problems are now infamous. The raging fires that strike California annually and take thousands of properties are growing in intensity. Though dry spells are common in this region, one this long and severe is not. This year has the lowest rainfall level since the 1920s. The total annual rainfall is only 49% of the historical average. This year, in fact, has been the hottest year on record since 1895. California Governor Jerry Brown declared a drought emergency last January in response to the lack of water and raging wildfires. Many of the natural reservoirs in the area has also dried up. These disasters have cost millions of dollars to the state of California and it is a cause for scientific concern. Because of hotter ocean water, hurricanes are expected to have higher wind speeds, more precipitation, and bigger storm surges in the near future. Increased rainfall and ice cap melts brought about by warmer temperatures have been the cause of many floods in the Midwest and Northeast United States. Bigger storms that were once predicted to occur every 20 years are now predicted to occur every 4 or 5. Geological changes are also becoming more and more evident. Particularly, melting glaciers and ice caps are a cause for alarm. By the year 2070, all glaciers in Glacier National Park will be disappeared, some research indicates. The famous and ancient Larsen B ice shelf is diminishing. Its northern peak, which was as big as Rhode Island, collapsed in 2002. And the ice shelf has already shrunk by 40% since 1995. NASA says the polar ice cap is melting at a rate of 9% per decade. The U.S. Center for Atmospheric Research says that at the current rate will mean total Arctic ice annihilation by 2040. Global sea levels, too, are being affected. The oceans have already risen 4 to 8 inches in the last century, and the pace is still accelerating. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change says that levels could rise 10 to 23 inches by 2100. The Greenland ice mass was stable in the 1990s, but now appears shaky, adding to the melting problem. Greenland counts as 10% of Earth's total ice supply, meaning the water levels could increase by 21 feet. Global warming also affects wildlife. For example, polar bears. These animals count on ice masses to live and are rapidly losing their homes. The ice keeps the bears' body temperatures cool, gives them a place to hunt and raise their cubs in the winter, etc. But these animals are being forced to rely more and more on solid land. As the ice mass shrinks, they float farther and farther out to sea, making them less accessible and making their trek rougher for bears and contributing to mortality rates. Seals go where the ice masses are, taking away the bears' main source of food. The animals are showing signs of becoming increasingly cannibalistic. This means narrower hunting seasons for the bears, whose average weight has dropped by 15%. The total population of these animals has dropped 20% in the Hudson Bay area. In 2008, polar bears were officially made endangered. North American waterfowl are also affected. Many live and breed annually in areas with large bodies of water, such as the prairie pothole region and the Great Plains. Riddled with small bodies of water, this area is said to have diminished by up to 91% by recent droughts and heat waves. This means that the amount of waterfowl breeding in the area has diminished by 9 to 69%. This results in huge changes in the migrational patterns of these animals, as well as their breeding and feeding grounds. Among the affected, are the northern pintails, canvasbacks, ruddy ducks, redheads, and mallards. It would be a great tragedy indeed if many inhabitants of the Midwest could not admire these birds' V formations in the fall. Extreme weather, geological changes, and strange wildlife behavior are all proof of the coming environmental disaster. As inhabitants of Earth, it is our job to decide where we stand on this issue and to do something about it. And this is my visual representation on global warming.
For 2.5 million years, the Earth's climate has fluctuated, cycling from ice ages to warmer periods. But in the last century, the planet's temperature has risen unusually fast, about 1.2 to 1.4 degrees Fahrenheit. Scientists believe it's human activity that's driving the temperatures up, a process known as global warming. Ever since the Industrial Revolution began, factories, power plants, and eventually cars have burned fossil fuels such as oil and coal, releasing huge amounts of carbon dioxide and other gases into the atmosphere. These greenhouse gases trap heat near the Earth through a naturally occurring process called the greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect begins with the sun and the energy it radiates to the Earth. The Earth and the atmosphere absorb some of this energy, while the rest is radiated back into space. Naturally occurring gases in the atmosphere trap some of this energy and reflect it back, warming the Earth. Scientists now believe that the greenhouse effect is being intensified by the extra greenhouse gases that humans have released. Evidence for global warming includes a recent string of very warm years. Scientists report that 1998 was the warmest year in measured history, with 2005 coming in second. Meanwhile, readings taken from ice cores show that the greenhouse gases carbon dioxide and methane have hit their highest levels in the past 420,000 years. Arctic sea ice is also shrinking. According to NASA studies, the extent of Arctic sea ice has declined about 10% in the last 30 years.
That is all the video I wish to show for my presentation. The full video is available on the link. Thank you very much.